The Garten of Banban 0? Look, even I didn't see this one coming. It honestly feels like we're getting the Euphoric Bros multiverse. Just when you think you're gonna get the Garten of Banban 5, you get 6. And then when you think you're gonna get the Garten of Banban 8, you get a Plague Doctor's wet dream with Unplagued. And then we get the Pixel Nightmare missing Banban. And now Garten of Banban 0. I don't think we're ever gonna get the Garten of Banban 8. Well, probably not this year. But with this release of the Garten of Banban 0, there are a ton of secrets for me to show you. I've actually got 10 to be exact. Please subscribe. The trailer starts with an eerie single table and chair in the center of an empty room, almost like Sheriff Toaster is about to bust in and interrogate someone. And also an eerie soundtrack begins to play in the background. We're then taken to another mysterious room with a bunch of holes in the walls. Each of those holes looks like the exit of a slide. The trees in this room also look toy-like. And then we quickly flash back to the inside of that room with a table inside of it. And then another weird room with holes in the walls, but now igloos in the room. And now the door to that room with the tables inside is opened as two very small red hands latch onto the side of the door. Lo and behold, it's Banban without his hats. For some weird reason, his tongue starts to come out and go towards his eyes. And on the other side, we see two mysterious tentacles in blue come out and latch onto the door frame too. And we all know those three eyes, it's Nab Nab. Kinda cool how they're opposite to each other because their names are opposite as well. And that's it for the trailer. But that takes me on to detail number 1, the thumbnail. If you thought something looked unusual about Banban and Nab Nab in that final scene, you're right. They have now become babies, with the Garten of Banban 0 acting as a prequel to the games. And the thumbnail of the trailer shows us what they actually look like as babies. The baby version of Banban hasn't been introduced to his trademark 2 hats yet. He's about a third of the adult size. For some reason his pupils are really dilated, and I still don't really understand why his tongue is so long in this one. It's kind of weird. And then we've got baby Nab Nab. Like baby Banban, wearing his hat isn't part of his look yet, and he's also missing about 95% of his teeth, and also very dilated pupils. But this next detail will help us understand this babyfied version of the game even more. The Steam description. The following pieces of text that have been found on the Steam page completely describe what this game is going to be about. Explore the origins of the mysterious Banban's kindergarten. Survive the dark past of the establishment. Try to make some friends. Uncover the truth behind the place and who you are. Delve into the past of the kindergarten and explore the origins of the establishment. Only you can connect the dots. Opportunity to make friends? Welcome to your new home. Get out of your cell and meet your fellow neighbors. Everyone here is loving and wants to be your friend. This confirms that the Garten of Banban 0 is going to be a prequel to the Garten of Banban 1. But the line that says, uncover the truth behind the place and who you are, confuses me, because it makes it sound like we are one of the baby versions of the monsters. Why else would this place be referred to as our new home? It's also quite unnerving that we're told to get out of our cell as if that's our home. And it's safe to assume that our neighbors that are mentioned are also in cells as well. And do we have no connection to the parent protagonist in any of the other games? Anyway, on to secret detail number 3, the screenshots. Starting off with the forest. The forest is a weird yellow room with big holes in the walls. The trees in this room also look toy-like. Due to this place looking so blocky and toy-like, I assume it's just a playground. It's fair to assume that scientists are most likely running tests on the baby versions of the monsters. And some of those tests will involve them being acclimatized to different locations. And so in the facility they'll make locations like this to emulate different places from the outside world. Kind of like a location we've seen like this before. And ironically, it was the last time we saw babies in the series. The baby Opila and Tarta birds in the Garten of Banban 2. Which makes me wonder, is this the location we're gonna see Opila and Tarta in? Who knows? On to the next detail. The igloos. I like to believe that this location is very similar to the previous one. But if we agreed the last one is for the Opila birds, then who the hell is this one made for? Honestly, it's probably no one. It's probably just a playground. But the one interesting thing about this screenshot is the hole in the background. Unlike all the other holes in the walls, this one has a light at the end of it, which makes me think we're actually going to use some of them to get between different locations. Anyway, on to the next detail. The desert. Honestly, there's not too much to say about this one. It's the last screenshot that shows a location within the playground. Like the other 2 locations, it has the holes in the wall, but a vastly different climate. Unlike the igloos, which is extremely cold, and the forest, which is in the middle, the desert will be the extremely hot climate, which will allow the little baby experiments to experience all of the climates out there, without ever having to actually leave the facility. And to be honest, that's all with this one. The next screenshots are a little bit more interesting. Next we have the classroom. This was actually the first location we see inside of the trailer, and what I assume is the room that we see the baby Nab Nab and Banban looking into. Like all other locations in this facility, it is very eerie. One singular table, desk, chair, and seat in the corner. On one wall we've got a TV and a button, and on the other it looks like potentially a one-way window for the scientists to watch in on their experiments. The TV has the question, "Do you know your name?" and a big question mark, which indicates this room is probably where they examine their little monsters, most likely for their cognitive function, because as you know, some of the mascots are smarter than the others, and a lot of the time this could be dictated by their genome donor, and so to see how far they develop in cognitive function, they have to monitor them closely. Anyway, on to the next detail, the hospital. In this screenshot we see a really weird looking industrial bed. Doesn't necessarily look clinically sanitary, but I think it's safe to assume this is where some pretty big experiments go down. Is this where they make the mini monsters? Because up until this point during the entire series, we've never actually seen where they make the monsters. We've just heard about it, but we've never seen it. And to be honest with you, there's a great chance that this isn't even the hospital. I'm just assuming it is because of the bed in the middle. It could be a location where they do a completely different experiment that we're only going to see during the game. But one thing's for sure, this location is very important. Anyway, on to the next detail. The door. The reason why I call this room the door is because I have absolutely no idea what it's about. It's probably the most mysterious screenshot of them all. The floors and ceilings have a weird indentation pattern. The lights in the room are coming off from the floor, and we've got 3 lights either side of the big door in the center of the room. There's something epic feeling about this room. It kind of feels like once an experiment is finished and it's going to be presented, they come out of these doors. And then the other thought I'm having is that this is actually just a prison cell. The pattern on the ceiling and floor give off insane asylum vibes, and this could be where they hold each one of the mascots in between day and night cycles. You gotta do what you gotta do with those little devils. Anyway, that is one I'd love to hear your opinions on. But on to secret detail number 9. Trojan Tarta? If when you were watching the trailer and you thought the background music was extremely airy but familiar, you would be right. It's music we definitely have heard before, and it's in one of the other games. That game being the Garten of Banban 7. When you enter the theater portion of the game, this is the music that you can actually hear in the background, and the song is called Trojan Tarta. But that takes me on to the final secret detail, Brista's involvement. I have a feeling Brista has some major involvement in this chapter. First of all, the Euphoric brothers usually show us a secret room for a character when they're going to appear in the next chapter. We all assume Brista was going to appear in the Garten of Banban 8, but this is the next chapter, so are they going to appear this time? Secondly, the music choice. Like I mentioned before, that was the background music during the theater part of the game, and a major character from the theater part of the game was Brista, considering they directed every single play that was on every single one of the posters inside of that theater. And then the final reason is actually a secret within itself. This image over here. People found it in the Garten of Banban 7 game files. It's an unused poster, and the title states, "Honey, the baby is redacted." And we know this chapter is about all of the monster babies, so was Brista planning on making a play about the baby monsters, which insinuates he's seen them before, and the events that happen in this game might be that occasion. But who knows, it's all a theory, and we won't really know anything until the game comes out, so you better sub up or else you'll miss out on all the fun. But until that game comes out, there's a whole bunch of other videos on this channel you need to go check out, like this one I just did about Amanda the Adventurer and how I found every single secret in the game. Go on, click it.